Right now, you are doing it. You're doing exactly what he warned us about a century ago. I want you to try something. It's a simple test, but for most people in the 21st century, it's become almost impossible. After this video ends, I want you to put your phone in another room. No music, no podcast in the background, no productive chores. Just you and the four walls of your room for 10 minutes. How long before that itch starts? That subtle creeping dread in the pit of your stomach that whispers, I need to check something. I need to hear a voice. I need to be anywhere but here. Most people call this boredom. Peter Wessel Zapffe called it cosmic panic. He believed that your brain is a biological catastrophe. You have been given too much consciousness, more than any animal was ever meant to carry. And that phone in your hand? It isn't a communication tool. It's a survival kit. It is a high-tech shield designed to protect you from the terrifying realization of what you actually are. In the next few minutes, we're going to explore why your brain rot is actually a sophisticated defense mechanism. We're going to look at the four walls Zapffe says we build just to stay sane, and why the digital age has turned us all into the last messiahs. By the end of this conversation, you will never look at your notification bell the same way again. To understand our phone addiction, we have to understand a giant deer that died out 10,000 years ago. The Irish elk was a magnificent creature, but it had a problem. It evolved antlers so massive, up to 12 feet across, that they eventually became a burden. Evolution is usually a story of better, faster, stronger. But the elk is a reminder that evolution can also be a dead end. Those antlers were great for fighting and mating until they weren't. Eventually, the species likely went extinct because it spent all its energy just carrying the weight of its own head. Zapffe argued that human consciousness is our version of those antlers. We are over-evolved. We are the only creature on this planet that has been given the ability to see the past, fear the future, and most terrifyingly, the only animal that knows it is going to die. Think about that. A cow doesn't spend its Tuesday worrying about the heat death of the universe. A dog doesn't have an identity crisis or wonder if its life has meaning. It just exists. But you have a surplus of thought. You have a brain that is constantly asking why, in a universe that has no intention of answering. This surplus is so heavy, it would crush us if we didn't find a way to numb the weight. Zapffe identified 4 specific ways that humans protect themselves from the cosmic panic of being alive. As I go through these, I want you to look at your digital life and see which one you've turned into a fortress. The first wall, isolation. Zapffe defines this as a cluttering out of all disturbing and destructive thought and feeling. In the past, this meant avoiding the local madman or staying away from the cemetery. Today, we do this with the algorithm. We curate our feeds to be echo chambers. We block, we mute, and we filter. We use our digital screens to isolate ourselves from the harsh reality of suffering and death, creating a curated reality where the scary truths of the world can't reach us. The second wall, anchoring. We anchor ourselves in values to feel safe. We tether our consciousness to a fixed point. In 1933, it was church or country or the family. In 2026, it's your bio. It's your political tribe. It's your brand. We cling to these digital labels with a desperate grip because if we didn't, we'd realize we are just tiny, temporary accidents floating in a void. Your online identity is an anchor designed to keep you from drifting into the deep sea of existential dread. The third wall, distraction. This is the big one. This is why you're here. Zapffe defined distraction as tethering all one's attention to an impression. The For You page is the greatest distraction machine ever built in human history. It ensures that not a single second of silence enters your day. If you are distracted by a 15-second clip of a recipe, or a dance, or a political rant, you don't have to face the panic. You aren't addicted to TikTok because the content is great. You are addicted to the fact that it keeps your brain too busy to realize how lonely it is to be a conscious human being. The fourth wall, sublimation. This is the positive defense. It's what I'm doing right now. Sublimation is taking the pain of existence and turning it into something useful like art, books, or a 30-minute YouTube video about philosophy. It's the highest form of defense, but Zapffe warns us, it's still a defense. It's just another way of looking away from the abyss by painting a picture on the wall in front of it. Here is where it gets dark. Zapffe wrote his essay in 1933. He thought these defenses were enough to keep us functional, but he couldn't have imagined the world we live in now. The problem in 2026 is that our digital defenses are breaking. We have more distraction available to us than any generation in history. We have infinite content. And yet, depression, anxiety, and that unnamed dread are at record highs. Why? Because our distractions have become too fast. They don't fulfill us anymore, they just exhaust us. We are like that Irish elk, trying to run through a thick, modern forest with antlers that are catching on every single tree. We doom scroll because we are looking for an answer to a question that has no answer. We are trying to find meaning in a stream of data. Zapffe would look at a person staring at their phone for 10 hours a day, and he wouldn't see a user or a consumer. He would see a person who is desperately screaming for mercy from their own mind. Zapffe ended his work with a chilling prophecy. He called for a last Messiah. In his view, a Messiah isn't someone who comes to save us and lead us to heaven. The last Messiah is the person who finally has the courage to tell the truth, that the human experiment was a mistake, that we should stop the cycle, that we should be the last of our kind so the suffering of too much consciousness can finally end. Now, I'm not here to tell you to follow Zapffe to that extreme conclusion, but I am here to suggest this. The next time you feel that itch to grab your phone, the next time the silence feels too loud, don't run. Just for 60 seconds, put the shield down. Sit with the cosmic panic. Look it in the eye. Acknowledge that you are a biological miracle that was never meant to happen. When you stop running from the void, you realize something strange. The void isn't trying to hurt you. It's just there. And in that silence, you might actually find a piece of yourself that isn't manufactured by an algorithm or a defense mechanism. This is a heavy topic, and if you've stayed with me for this entire minute journey, you are likely one of the few people left who actually wants to understand why behind the what. I want to hear from you, but I don't want a nice video comment. I want to know which of Zapffe's 4 defenses do you find yourself using the most? Is it distraction through your phone? Is it anchoring your sanity in your work or your online labels? Let's have a real human conversation in the comments. No bots, no memes, just us talking about the weight of being alive. If you found this helpful, or even just a little bit terrifying, share it with one person you know who can't put their phone down. Maybe it's time we all stopped running together. Be kind to your over-evolved brains today. I'll see you in the next one.